They're Pinky and the Brain. Yes, Pinky and the Brain.
Maurice LaMarche is the man of
other's
1,000
insane.
voices and a former stand-up comedian, which we'll ask how that contributes to his voice acting. So you've had a great voice acting career. I'll probably put a quarter in the old voiceover jukebox here and have you go at it in a bit. I'm interested in your stand-up. You were really on a great trajectory with stand-up, having appearances on Merv Griffin back in the day. You were on a Rodney Dangerfield HBO special. So tell me about how you...
Do any of your listeners even know who these people were?
You know what? I do a 70s show at 7 o'clock, so they do know Merv, and everybody knows Rodney.
Everybody still knows Rodney. I mean, you know, Rodney, God bless him, he only left us a couple of years ago, and boy, I'll tell you, it was just... Boy, I'll tell you, hey, there's a 70s or 60s comedian thing to say, huh? Boy, I'll tell you, file under things to say while you're trying to calculate the funny thing to say. Rodney was the most generous performer and boss, and just he couldn't have been kinder and nicer to young comedians. Everybody, he was a spiritual. Oh, good. Oh, look, somebody's calling to tell me I'm on the radio. Isn't that nice?
That's awesome.
I said, my call waiting. Hey, man, did you know you're on the radio? Yes, right now I'm on the radio. Stop calling me. So anyway, no, but Rodney, a lot of us regard him as a sort of a comedy spiritual godfather, and you know, he gave a lot of us our starts. He put me on the Young Comedians. He put Sam Kinison on the Young Comedians, and you know, Saget, and it was just, you know,
it's good company.
Amazing. Yeah, he was on the next special. He put Jerry Seinfeld on and Dice Clay, and gave Kinison another shot. I mean, just guy Louis Anderson, Rita Rudner. He had an eye for talent. You know, he just knew who the next guys were going to be. Although I have to take a little credit because I twisted his arm to get Sam on the special, which differs slightly from his version in his biography. But I forgive him for it. He's passed on, but he basically transposes all of my lines into his mouth and all of his objections into Sam's mouth, which is not something Sam would have done. Sam was one of my best friends, and you know, but that's okay. But you know, it's again, Rodney, with that one exception, tremendously generous guy, and you know, apart from taking credit for Sam seeing Sam's talent on the Young Comedians, I really did, you know, I really did talk him into it. So.
Yeah,
But,
Kinison was huge.
Yeah, and Rodney didn't think Rodney loved him. To be fair, Rodney said, "Man, I don't know if Kinison could cook in 5 minutes, man. I know he's great." And I said, "Rodney, I would give up my spot on the show to make sure Sam got on. That's how much I believe." Because he'd asked my advice on the tour bus, you know, when I was opening for him, and I said, you got to give that last spot to Sam Kinison. And he said, all right, man, if you feel that strongly about it, I'll go take a look, baby. So ultimately, the say was his, and he did put Sam on, so he does get the credit. But he needed a little persuading from a certain young and unknown impressionist at the time.
Right. So you were already doing impressions, and was that part of your stand-up act?
That was what my stand-up act was, and that was really probably the flaw in my stand-up act. I didn't really have a point of view per se. I was just beginning to develop one. You know, and most impressionists, this is kind of why I'm not wild about, you know, watching them myself, and you know, it's very amusing, but you never know what they really feel or think about anything, because everything is involved with, let's take a celebrity that we know and put him in some wacky fish out of water situation, and let's let the sparks fly, instead of, you know, somebody like, you know, to name two opposite ends of the spectrum, you know, a comedian like Bill Maher or a comedian like Dennis Miller. You know, both of them, you absolutely know where they come from, and they do it in a very funny way.
Yeah. They used to not be on opposite sides of the spectrum.
No, Dennis had a bit of a turn. Yep. Some would say to the dark side. I'm a big fan of Dennis's, so you know, he's on his path and Bill's on his. So, you know, listen, maybe they're both wrong. Who knows? Maybe it's right down the middle. Yeah,
that's right. You can be the moderate comedian.
What a people-pleasing thing to say. I still haven't found my point of view.
But you don't do stand-up anymore, or do you?
I haven't done stand-up really seriously in 20 years.
So how did you find your way into doing voices for cartoons?
Voices for cartoons was an accident for me. It was just this thing that I tripped sideways into it. I was walking the tightrope of trying to find stardom through stand-up comedy and auditioning for sitcoms and all that type of thing. And I just kind of went whoa, and off to the right, and there was this little door that said, try out here, try this voiceover thing. And I had one agent at the William Morris agency that I was with for all my other stuff that I considered to be the bigger stuff. And she said, "Why don't you try reading for some cartoon shows?" And I said, all right. I mean, that was literally my attitude,
So you didn't really have you weren't watching, like, I'm a huge fan of animation, so you weren't necessarily that guy when you were suggested to try out for it.
Oh, no, I was a cartoon nut when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But to me, I had my eye on this brass ring of sitcom stardom or movie stardom and touring all around the country. And, it just seemed like a part-time job to me. I know that sounds really snobby, but
that's horrible.
Isn't it, though? Aren't I?
You came close. I wasn't going to bring this up, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I mean, so you just described the way you saw yourself, and you came really close to having the lead in Moonlighting opposite Sybil Shepherd, unless Wikipedia is lying to me again.
No. That's absolutely true.
Okay.
I got 3 callbacks. I was limited to just before the screen test phase. There was going to be like 3 of us reading with Sybil, and once again, it was this happened to me one other time in my career. I read on a Friday, and on Monday they screen tested Bruce Willis and this other actor David. I can't remember his last name. So they eliminated me, and I was told it was because I was too ethnic looking, and they wanted an all-American look. And I'm French Canadian on my dad's side, and a whole Mediterranean chopped salad on my mother's side. There's some Turkish, there's some Lebanese, there's some Syrian. I didn't look the all-American blue-eyed kind of look. But the other time it happened, I was a very short-lived sitcom called Good Impressions with Brad Garrett in the lead, and it came down to me, Brad Garrett, and Jeff Altman. And again, I was like, Tuesday we read for producers, and on Friday it was like, well, you're not the guy. So
right.
I've come close twice, which was just great. I knew that I was making fans, and really the truth is, and I don't delve into it too much because I don't want to be a downer, but I had a tremendous tragedy in my family. My father was murdered, and that really derailed me from the stand-up comedy thing, and I just kind of went into a hole, and there was drinking, and there was also a couple of years later, thank God, sobriety, which I've been on the straight and narrow for 23 years now. But during that time, I really let go of the stand-up comedy, but I always kept the voiceover thing going, and I've come to see it as the greatest blessing in my life. I was a kid. I had these big pie-in-the-sky dreams, and everything that I thought I wanted, if I'd have gotten it, maybe it would have killed me. Who the heck knows?
Yeah.
But voiceovers and doing cartoons has just been this tremendous long-lived career. I describe it as winning the lottery in the 26 annual payments instead of the one cash, the big one cash payout. It's just a gift that keeps on giving. And for literally 25 years, I've been able to, 26 years, I've been able to do this thing nonstop and always have a studio to go to and always have a job and a gig. And that feels great. It's much better this way because an actor wants to work always, and I love working.
And you won an Emmy this year, and I don't know if it's your first Emmy, but you won a...
It is.
It is. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I've been nominated twice before in other categories each time, but this was my first nomination and first win in the category of Outstanding Voiceover Performance.
Was this for Futurama?
It was indeed, yes. It was for an episode where I only played 2 parts. I played Lur, ruler of the planet Omicron, Persei 8. Can I stay on your couch? And Orson Welles' head in a jar. It was an episode called Irreconcilable Indifferences, and Lur's wife kicks him out of the house because he hasn't conquered a planet. So Orson Welles' head in a jar helps him stage a fake war of the worlds, and he wins her back. But he's got to be honest with her and tell her it was all fake, and hijinks ensue. It was a fun episode because here's a tertiary character, Lur, who only shows up like once a season, but they gave him a main storyline, let him run with the story, brought in the Orson Welles thing, and he became very sympathetic, even though in the end he basically goes to shoot Leela and Fry steps in the way. I won't ruin it for you if you haven't seen it. It tugs at the heartstrings.
It tugs at the heartstrings. Excellent.
Yeah.
This is a show too, and this happens more and more now. But this is a show that was canceled, brought back. I mean, probably a couple years later, right? And it's happened a few times, and it just keeps coming back. Are the fans responsible for that, or how is that occurring?
I would say that it's in huge part the fans, because the network will they've been willing to kind of humbly say, hey, you know what? Maybe we were wrong on this one, as they did with Family Guy.
Right.
Although the Fox network did not put us back on, but 20th Century Fox TV certainly did. And they came to Comic-Con when we did our first panel after coming back and doing the first movie. And the heads of the studio, the TV division, took a look around and saw a room packed with 5,000 fans who literally got to their feet and screamed, and cheered for us as we each came on stage. The Heroes panel in the first year of Heroes, and remember what a phenomenon that was in its first season, had just been in that room, and we did the same amount of business in that room. In other words, packed the room out, second largest ballroom at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, and when I actually caught the look, he was right in the front row, Gary Newman, and I caught him turn around and look at this gigantic room and the cheers that we got, and he had seen the reaction that Heroes had gotten, and I think I saw the thing in his head that said, "This deserves to come back." I saw him make that turn in his mind. Go, "This deserves to come back as a TV series." If they feel this strongly about it, it's not just polite applause, where they're actually it's this wave of joy coming at the stage. And so we've been back, and we've gotten to do 2 more actual TV show seasons, and hopefully we'll get to come back and do more. I think our ratings have been pretty strong, and our Facebook likes, I think we've got almost 17 million Facebook likes. So that's 17 million unique users who are into the show. So hopefully we'll just be around for a good long time. Have
you gotten to meet Matt Groening along the way?
Oh yeah, just a little bit. Had dinner with him last week.
Oh,
yeah. No, Matt's become a good friend, and he's a huge supporter of the show. He's at every table reading. He's very involved in the show. In fact, in some ways, I think he's got a softer spot for Futurama because it's totally his. It's his idea, developed with David X. Cohen, which Matt is the first one to talk about how indispensable David is to the development of the show. But this one's all Matt's idea, and as he will say in front of any audience that asks what's the difference between Simpsons and Futurama, he'll say, "Well, The Simpsons is a great cartoon show. Futurama is real." So
okay.
That's the way Matt makes that distinction. So we feel very lucky that Matt loves the show that much, and yeah, he loves the cast, and we kind of hang out, and he throws dinners every now and again, and it's great. Yeah, but he and I have a love of sushi, and that's it's unsurpassable. So we go hit the best sushi joints together, and go see movies about sushi.
Movies about sushi. Okay.
Yeah, there's a tremendous documentary called Zero Dreams of Sushi that we went to go see, and then went out to the second best place in town because the first best guy retired. So we really are into our sushi.
Excellent. Well, let's get into some voices here. You mentioned Heroes, and you had a part on Heroes, did you not?
I had an audio-only part. Yes, I did that once again in voiceover. I'm on a hit show, but you only hear me, you never see me.
Yeah.
I was the voice of Siler in episode 2 on the answering machine, and Jeff Loeb, who produced the show, has known me we've known each other for years.
He's a great writer.
And he is a great writer, and we're we've been pals for 25 years, and he just called me up and said, "Do you think you give me something that, like, if Kevin Spacey would do our show, it'd be kind of like that?" I said, "Don't do Kevin Spacey, and don't do Orson Welles, but something in between." And so I just called up every malevolent cell in my body and put it in my voice, and was like, "Hello, Mohinder. I can't stop doing it, Mohinder. I'm hungry. I need their brains." And it's like I got to play this dramatic thing, and when I heard it back, I went, "Man, that's chilling. That's one sick bastard."
That is one sick
People's
bastard.
Brains because he's hungry for them, and then he gains their powers. Oh my God! But they didn't quite know what Silo was going to be at that point.
Right.
So that was fun. And the cool thing is, I just went into a room, watched the scene, and I could totally lose myself in it. I didn't have to wait for hair lighting and makeup. I just got to become this malevolent, evil, super powerful guy. So that was great. And a little different than doing. Kirk Douglas on Animaniacs. What have you done to my ceiling, you little bastard? It's
what you do Orson Welles a lot. I think he's a good part of your bread and butter and the basis for Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Yes, my friend. Especially the butter. I love the butter almost as much as Marlon Brando. Yes. Orson has really done me. I can't thank his departed spirit enough. He inhabited the brain. I got to play his voice in the Ed Wood movie over Vincent D'Onofrio's flawless on-camera performance, but he just didn't have the sound.
Right.
And
did you get credit for that at the time, or did
none
they?
None whatsoever. But thanks to the internet,
yes,
everybody knows it's me anyway.
Right.
They would not give me a credit. I even offered to take a pay cut. I said, tell you what, just pay me half what you're paying me, but give me a credit at the end. They went, take the money because we ain't giving you a credit.
Well, I remember people talking about his performance at the time, but I didn't remember that part of the story, and now, there it is.
There it is. There it is on several web pages. So yes, but that was me, and I got to direct. Tim Burton himself directed me for the looping session,
wow,
which was really cool because he's a very, very intense and focused guy, but not at all weird. I mean, everybody said, "Oh yeah, he's weird to work with." It's like, no, he's really focused. That's not weird.
Right.
That's me too.
Yeah.
That's the way I am. So it was cool.
Okay. How about oh man. Forgive me. Oh, you were the voice of Alec Baldwin in Team America World Police. F yeah.
One day, you'll look back on this world us actors helped create and say, good going, fag. You really made the world a better place, didn't you, fag? FAG standing for Film Actors Guild, an acronym for Film Actors Guild. So lest your listeners think me homophobic, I'm not.
Right. No. I'm not even sure I can hear that part. Popeye?
Oh, gosh. Popeye and Son.
Was that one of your earlier roles, or did that happen later?
Yeah, the year was 1987, I believe it was, and
okay.
And the folks at Hanna-Barbera said, let's take Popeye and jump him ahead 10 years, and he finally makes an honest woman of olive oil and marries her, and we bring him in the 80s. Which is so much fun because every shot of olive oil she's got leg warmers on. If they got leg warmers on those legs, I have no idea. And they gave him a son, Popeye Jr., who here's his hook: he hates spinach.
Oh.
So really, the show consisted of me at the top of every episode going, "So, what adventure are you off on today, son? Well, don't forget your spinach." And then at the end, after Popeye Jr. and his surfer buddy, played by Nancy Cartwright, strangely enough, using the exact same voice he uses for Bart, except with a bit of a surfer dude California spin on it. Solving the problem and then coming back, and then it's that's my boy. So that was me doing Popeye for a season, during 1987.
Who was the original voice of Popeye?
The original voice of Popeye was this vaudeville performer named Red Pepper Sam. Bill Costello was his real name, William Costello. And then it became, oh goodness gracious me. Oh, I want to say Seagar, but that's the artist.
Right.
It's not Seagar. It's, oh man.
Well, that's okay.
He died. He was the one really we all grew up with. Red Pepper Sam did I think 8 of them. And then he went off to fight in the war, and the animator, the guy we all know and love, he's the one who was, he would do his impression of Red Pepper Sam, his Popeye as he took them through the storyboards, and then little by little, they realized, hey, he does a pretty good Popeye. While Bill Costello's off, fighting the war, let's let him do the job. So he became the guy. Jack Mercer.
Jack Mercer.
Jack Mercer, without looking it up on Google. It was Jack Mercer.
I don't know.
Mercer did it. Jack Mercer did it for 52 years, and then he unfortunately passed away while they were developing Popeye and Son, so they did a big search, and it landed on me. Thank God.
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah.
You've done some of Mel Blanc's famous voices. Sylvester.
Yeah, I filled in for Sylvester once. Suffering succotash. But the big one for me has been, I've also done, listen, son, my memory's going on me.
Foghorn?
Foghorn Leghorn. I say it's Alzheimer's, you know. So I've done Foghorn for a couple of video games, but the one that I've done consistently since Mel passed away is Yosemite Sam. 'Cause I'm the only jerk that'll go balls to the wall. Can I say balls?
You can say balls.
Thank God.
Nice mic technique too. I appreciate the fact that you pulled away from the phone on that one.
My mother didn't raise no idiots, Stan. So, he's the one that I'm doing him now on the Looney Tunes show, but I've done him in almost everything except the feature films. They always seem to go to somebody else for the feature films. But I've done him all the TV stuff, all the video games. And he's lost my voice a couple of times.
Oh, I'm sure. Which is a danger for voice actors.
Yeah.
You got to pace yourself on a voice like that.
Yeah. But he's a great character and lots of fun. And so, we just limit the number of takes I do. Singing as him is no fun.
Singing?
That's a real challenge, yeah.
Can you do it?
Not right now.
Okay. Well, I thought you were baiting me. I'm like, he wants to sing.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah, I'm not. Usually, I need a good 2 days rehearsal.
Right on.
Because the voice has like a 3-note range, before I break something.
So I actually had the pleasure of meeting you briefly at a voice conference at the Century Plaza Hotel a couple years ago.
Oh, right, yes.
And you said the coolest thing, I think you articulated probably what a lot of people think, and you referred to what you do as magic or close to it. I wonder if you can tell us about that feeling.
Well, it is. It's the closest thing to magic. When you experience, pictures moving, at 24 frames per second, obviously we don't animate a full animation, and hear your voice coming out of one of those pictures, that is the closest thing to magic. I mean, obviously we achieve it through science, but, it's the closest thing to magic that I've ever felt. And the first time I ever saw it was on a Canadian cartoon called Easter Fever. Where they roast the Easter Bunny. They do like a celebrity, roast of the Easter Bunny, played by Garrett Morris at the time from Saturday Night Live. Now on Two Broke Girls. He plays the cashier on Two Broke Girls.
Yeah, he does.
And he's great. And we, it was really, really something. When I heard, when I heard my characters come out of, my voices come out of 5 different characters, I just went, I love this. I want to do more of this. So, strangely enough, when it finally came my way in Hollywood, while I had that laissez-faire attitude, it was only because I thought it's not going to work. They're not going to hire me. I know that they only hire Frank Welker. He does everything.
Right.
And it did take me a year before I got my first job. But, when I heard my voice come out of Egon on Ghostbusters, doing my Harold Ramis impression, it was really cool. And for a long time, I watched every Saturday morning just to go, wow, I really am doing this. I really am making cartoon voices that are going out into the homes, and kids know me, and that's kind of neat.
Kind of surreal.
Even if they don't know me. Yeah, it was very cool.
What kind of advice would you give to people that are trying to break into voice acting?
I would say to go into stand-up comedy, fail at that, trip sideways into voiceovers, and, when your agent says, well, you want to try voiceovers, just be very blah about it. And go, yeah, I guess, but I really want my own sitcom.
That's the magic. That's the secret. That's the book that's out.
No, I'm saying it because I don't really have the same roadmap as everybody else. And I think because I didn't, kind of set it for myself as a thing I must have. I must become the greatest voiceover artist of all time. If I'd have done that, maybe I'd have failed at it because I'd have tried too hard and taken some wrong turns. But because I was just kind of like going with the flow and going, sure, my agent was going, you can do this. I'd go, all right, sure, why not? Will it help you? okay, then I'll do it. It was like I just went out on auditions and never thought about them again. And I still have that skill. I mean, she pointed it out to me. She said, you know what's great about you? You don't call me up and say, did I get that job? Did I get that job? And I go, well, it's because I know that there's nothing I can do to affect it once I leave the audition.
Yeah.
So anytime, if I was to give any young voiceover actor or any actor of any kind advice, it's like, for God's sake, don't do your audition to the windshield on your way home from the audition. Everything you can do to get yourself the job you left in the room. When you said goodbye to everybody and the door hits you in the butt on the way out, that's it. Go have lunch. Don't think about it again, because I guarantee you they won't forget to call your agent if you're the guy.
Right.
Yeah. So there's nothing more you can do. Don't try to send energy towards it from the universe, because that doesn't work. What works is give them a good job when you walk in there, and be pleasant, but don't suck up, and crack a joke. Make sure it's a good one if you're going to, and then do the audition. Ask if they want it any other way. If they say no, say thanks so much for your time. Have a great day, everybody, and go. And that's it. And that to me is the big secret of auditioning. If you look at it more as you're there to help them instead of to help you, you actually get out of your own way more.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. So you're going to be at Emerald City Comicon this weekend. You're on several panels. You'll be signing autographs, signing babies, signing body parts.
I'll sign your baby. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually on 3 panels in one day, because we're doing the Futurama panel with Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs panel. Then I think we're doing a segment from the Star Wars radio play, the NPR.
You are
the NPR radio play.
Yeah, 6 o'clock Saturday night.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be okay. So
or Saturday. Did I not say Saturday? What did I say?
No, you may have said Saturday. I may have said Friday, but I do mean Saturday. And so I've got those 3 panels, and I think we're just going to try switching voices and stuff like that. And what would Darth Vader sound like if he were Tony Curtis?
That's going to be a blast. I think that's going to be really cool for people. I will be
search the ship. I want those plans, and bring me the passengers. I want them alive. I couldn't throw out that throw out Tony Curtis without giving you Tony Curtis.
I have Tony Curtis's autograph on a Flintstones picture framed in my house. But anyway,
you mean when I played Stony Curtis?
Stony Curtis,
that's marvelous, wonderful, Wilma. I love Fred. He's a great guy.
Are you going to try out, or maybe they just hand you this stuff now? I don't know. Are you interested in the new Flintstones that's coming in 2013?
I'm interested, but I have a feeling Seth is going to do basically every voice on the show.
Yeah.
He can. He does an excellent Alan Reed-style Fred Flintstone. He does an excellent Barney. I don't know why he wouldn't do them. So I don't know if any of us are going to get a shot at it. But if they do audition, I certainly hope that he would take a listen. And it would be great. I played the character once and one time only on a show called Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. And there was an episode called the Yabba Dabba Don, and the conceit of the episode was that Fred, even though it appears he works, in a quarry, he's actually like a Tony Soprano kind of figure. That's just his cover. He's really like this kind of family, head of a mafia family, Stone Age family.
Right.
And they said, play it like Alan Reed, but play it like Alan Reed as if he's just going to have you whacked. And so it was like really just, well, Harvey, I understand that you've decided not to come to my daughter's wedding. It's your funeral.
Nice.
That's not wedding, baptism. That's right, the baptism, and then all the murders take place during the baptism, just like in the Godfather. It's hysterical.
That's awesome. We look forward to seeing you here in Seattle. I'll let you go, but I appreciate your
time. Looking forward to it. All right, man.
And we'll see you there, Maurice. You bet.
I look forward to meeting you.
Me too.
Again.
Okay.